Hi, my name is Ron Quintero, and on this video it's titled The 12 On-Air Tips to a Successful Radio Guest or Expert Contributor Appearance. So I don't have these memorized, so I'm going to refer to my 12 bullet points here. I just sat down with a pen and paper and I just started thinking, what can I do to make their experience, what information do I need to give them to make their experience coming on air the best that it can be? So here's the top 12. By the way, before I get to the 12, 1A is have fun. Don't get too worked up about worrying about each one of these things, because at the end of the day, you got to have fun. So number one, you need to be 100% authentic and genuine. Some of you may remember the movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, where before Robin grabs the microphone for the first time, there was a guy on there and he's reading the news and ding, ding, ding. It was terrible radio. It's called scripted radio. We really want to avoid that. And then all of a sudden it's Good Morning Vietnam, and all of a sudden it's like get the troops in the field are dancing and having fun and they're moving, they're bobbing and weaving. It's like, yeah, they're listening, they're paying attention. So my point is that tip number one, don't try to be somebody you're not. Be 100% authentic. Don't try to adopt the radio voice. Just have a lot of fun with this. Number two, be embarrassingly honest and transparent. Don't try to be this stuffed shirt, this phony professional that's trying to keep everybody's at arm's length. Be authentic, be genuine, be a little transparent. Be real, just be real. Number three, try to establish a connection with the listener. You could say things like, yeah, I remember when I was renting before I bought my first home. And maybe the person that's listening to that is a renter right now and they're thinking, wow, they're speaking to me. So try to establish a connection with the listener where you're being honest and transparent and authentic, and you're maybe referencing a point in your life around the subject that maybe you became a bankruptcy expert because you had to help a friend out of debt. So just try to be authentic and genuine and connect with the listener. Number four, be bold. There's an old saying that says, stand for something or fall for anything. So if you're trying to be politically neutral and right in the middle, you're really not connecting with anybody. At the same time, you don't want to be too extreme with the point of view, because then you're alienating certain listeners. And with radio, it's just like anything else. You really want to avoid the topic of politics and religion, because when you start getting too deep, you start to alienate another group. Say it like you mean it. If you can't tell right now, I'm pretty passionate about my style of communication. But you also want to be confident, and you want to be able to convey to the listener that you're committed to helping people. So if you're very boring, sitting back, giving one-word answers, people are tuning out. Raise your energy level a little bit. Have some fun with this. But if you're passionate about what you do, by the way, if you're not passionate about what you do, quit doing it, okay? But if you're passionate about what you do, try to get that across to the listener. 6, storytelling. I'm going to do a whole video just around this one topic, a few videos into the drip process here that we're going to be able to send you. But if you're going to tell a story, just remember the 3 blind mice, the 3 wise men, the 3 little pigs. Storytelling is typically done best in series of 3 points that you're trying to get across. Item number 7, be descriptive. When we train our radio show hosts, we tell them this. What I'm going to say next, I hope doesn't offend anybody, but we tell them this. You're communicating to a listener, and just imagine that they're blind. You want to be able to talk about things that are very descriptive so they could see them in their minds or imagine them in their minds, where you're talking about, as an example, for a person that's not blind. You may want to say something like the green wall with the purple polka dots. So the more descriptive you are, your listener's staying more engaged. Number 8, these are the negative ones, by the way. I say the last 4 are these items to avoid. Avoid listener confusion by not giving out your Facebook page, your website, text me, my phone number, my email address. One point of contact. Now I'm going to tell you what I recommend. Use the phone number for the radio show host and make the radio show host personally responsible for introducing listeners to you. So really the point of contact that you should use is the one number, either a telephone number or web address or text, whatever your radio show hosts use. Trust me, they don't use more than one or two, because you start to confuse the listener. So don't start thinking about, oh, I got to put out my Facebook page, I got to make sure I announce my email address. You're ready. Here's what you're doing by doing that. You're missing opportunity to be able to tell the story about what it is that you do. So don't waste your favors by putting out their points of contact. Make your show host responsible for doing that. Item number 9, avoid showing off. What I mean by showing off is using words that are really big. As an example, the Wall Street Journal is written in 6th grade grammar. The reason why, if they wrote it in college grammar, they'd lose half their subscribers. So you always want to talk to the person that's in the high school graduate level. You don't want to basically try to come off as pompous or arrogant by showing off just how smart you are. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Item number 10, avoid one-word answers. So if your radio show host asks you a question, again, that's part of us asking you earlier for the 5 most common questions asked of you, for you to pre-frame and get prepared in your mind how you want to be able to answer those, and make sure that you deliver a quality answer and not just yes or no answers. It's bad radio. We also, number 11, you want to avoid industry jargon or industry slang. And I'll tell you the 2 groups that are the worst at this, mortgage lenders and realtors. As an example, they'll drop things like FHA, HUD, MI, DTIs, LTVs. The listener has no clue what that is. By the way, short sell is slang. It's industry slang. I spoke to a loan modification expert yesterday, and he said about 50-50 when he's consulting with the homeowner. About 50% of them know what a short sell is, and 50% of them have heard the term but don't understand it. So my point is, avoid industry jargon and avoid industry slang. Point number 12, maintain your composure. You know, we record over 90% of our shows. About 10% of our show hosts actually do their show live. But you're going to be going into a studio and recording your show. Chances are that that's what's going to happen here. So just have fun. You know, if you say something wrong, you know, it's like that old saying about you can't get the bullet back in the gun. Well, we can, because we're recording. So if you say something that's out of compliance or a regulatory violation, we could re-record that segment if we need to. So, and that's the important part of why we record so many of these. We want to make sure that that bullet does not get out of the gun and you don't get in trouble. So by us pre-recording, we make sure that we put in there a stopgap measure to make sure that you don't provide anything that could jeopardize your license or to bring you any unwarranted or unwanted attention. I'm going to add point number 13, which was my point number 1A. Have fun. When you come on air, have a lot of fun, and just be yourself, be authentic, be genuine. Don't try to show off. Just have a lot of fun with this and try to connect with the listener. Be a human. That's all they're really looking for. Thank you very much.